Welcome back to my channel, you guys. I'm coming at you to talk with you about some things that have just been heavy on my noggin about this whole coronavirus stuff, and I've just been thinking a lot about it, and I came up with some things that I've been kind of like thinking, and I just wanted to share them with you guys. And maybe it's like I don't know, a positive moment out of all of this chaos and confusion. So I'm going to look down here because I have my ideas on my phone here, so or things that I've been thinking about. So I've been trying to think about the positive in this situation, even though there's a lot of negatives. And I do want to start the video by saying that I'm not saying that or minimizing anything that anyone's going through at all. So people are dying, people are losing jobs. I'm not disputing that at all, and I'm not saying that that's not an issue. I guess in these times I try to look at any type of positive that can be learned from this situation, or anything that can be gained from this experience, because I'd hate to think that it's just an experience that we have to go through and then that's it and we just move on with our daily lives. I feel like there's got to be some sort of meaning to it, and I don't know if anyone else feels the same way, or if anybody's thinking like maybe there's something to be gained from this experience even though it's a really crappy experience. So my situation at the moment is, I don't know if you even care, is I'm technically still working. I work in ophthalmology, and right now we're seeing emergencies only, and it's very limited staff. Basically at this moment I've just been spending my days rescheduling all of our patients that we have, and moving them out to a later date in hopes that we'll be back up and running in a functioning capacity at that time. So it's not been a great couple of weeks. The videos that are going to be coming out ahead of this one are filmed all before like all of this stuff started kind of going down. So as far as stay-at-home orders, and I mean, I'm not to say that other things aren't happening in other countries. I'm saying as far as like personally affecting me and people I know, when things got really serious was like in the last week or so, and into the end of last week. So there's just been so many changes, and it's been very upsetting. And again, this is why I'm like, I've got to find something to focus on that's positive, because otherwise you'll just drive yourself insane. And one thing that came to mind during all this is a lot of people are staying at home, and I was thinking maybe this is just like we just all needed this break. Like if you're not working and you're staying at home, or you're just working from home, maybe this is like a break that everyone needed. Like everyone needed to just chill out and stay home for a little bit, not go out, not focus on being busy and things like that. So maybe that's something we can learn from this, is that maybe we all just needed this break and we're kind of forced into taking it whether we want to or not. And then with that comes a few other things that are kind of side effects of that, which is that you're home with your family more. Kids are home from school, so they're not doing activities and things like that, so you're kind of automatically having to hang out with them more, which is maybe something we're all craving deep down. We're just really not, it hasn't come to fruition because of the fact that life is hectic and people are working and kids have activities after school, and you're just busy, 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 and you don't have that kind of family time, and now everyone has to stay home. So maybe it's coming to fruition in that way, and it's going to be something valuable that we can gain from that. Also, as far as focusing on health, we all go, I've been known to do this too, where I'm sick and I'm like, you know what, I just need to go to work because I don't want to stress other people out because I'm not there. And that's obviously not the best system ever if everyone does that same thing, because then we spread viruses places, and in general, we're not taking care of our own selves, and like how can we even be productive for other people if we can't take care of ourselves? So that's maybe something we can gain from this experience too, that if you're sick, you're supposed to stay home. If you have to work, and then otherwise you're staying home in general anyway. But maybe it's a good time to focus on our health and say, you know what, like this is the break I wasn't intending to get. I'm staying home. I'm starting to stay healthy. So maybe that's something that comes with this territory. Also, I've been seeing some different articles, and like I might have to vouch them and vet them and stuff, but you know, if it's true, I think it's a miracle, and I feel like it makes sense to me, is that the earth is also healing as well, because there's not people out driving a bunch of places, and there are people not like going to the parks and just ruining things. So I mean, that's also a positive too, because like the earth's kind of been damaged a lot by us, and if we can have any type of healing at all to that, that's a miracle. So I mean, I'll take that as a positive too. Sorry, I have to keep looking down because I like have all my list of things here. The other thing too that I've been thinking, and I don't want to make my channel political, like even though I love politics and I don't want to get into it. I don't want there to be all that kind of negative energy, because I feel like politics are very polarized nowadays. But I feel like maybe, if nothing else, this is giving everybody a wake-up call that our healthcare system is not perfect. It's always been that you have employer-based healthcare, and then that's fine, and everybody's happy, which is not always 100% true, but like the standard's been that if you have employer-based healthcare, then you should be fine, and you know, everybody else is kind of screwed, but whatever, everybody else is fine, you know? But the thing is, now everybody's getting laid off, and it's like, there's no way to have expected this to happen. So now that everybody's laid off, you're like, okay, well now I've lost my health care, and you can go file for COBRA, which is outrageously expensive. Like, I don't even know why COBRA exists, because it's just fake in my eyes. Like, it's not even a real thing. Like, no one's gonna be able to pay for that. So you've got that as an issue as well. Like, people are, have no health insurance. And I mean, it's good that, I guess, in a way, that it's not against the law now, because at least you're not penalized for something you can't help. But at the same time, like, wouldn't a giant healthcare overhaul or a reform be a positive right now? Why should your healthcare be tied to your employer? If you think about it, you can't help if they lay you off, and then you're just screwed. Or the other issue is if, like my husband, for example, he got fired, but he stopped working at his job, but he wants to start a business. For people who want to start their own business, they have to just go out in the system and hope for the best. And that's not great either, because it's very expensive. So, and you're going to end up with really high deductibles. And like, especially with this coronavirus thing, it's another thing that's like, you definitely don't want to just get it and be sick and just hope for the best. I mean, you may need to go to a hospital, and a lot of people are out of healthcare. So there's just going to be a lot of crazy implications that people maybe weren't thinking about when, at the time, when they're saying like, oh, let's not do like a large healthcare bill for everyone, because of the fact that we just thought it would be fine, and now it's not. So there's more to it than that. Something has to change. The system obviously isn't a good system. That's my opinion. Take it what you will. But it's just things that have come to mind as this whole thing's been going and blowing up. Also, the other thing too is a lack of guaranteed time off. I mean, in our state, in Washington, they did pass some laws that you have to have sick time, which not all states are like that. Majority of states probably aren't like that, where there's any guaranteed sick time for you. It's really up to your employer, again, to offer that to you. So if they don't, then you're just out. You just don't get paid. And people can't afford to just not get paid because they're sick. Like, they'll still go to work sick because they need the money. Which, I mean, that's a messed up system if you think about it. Like, we need people to work and be productive, but if you're sick, you're not productive. I mean, just to look at it from a business standpoint. So there's that. Also, maybe as far as people like wanting to spend more money and be not as... I don't want to down people. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying, like, maybe it'll open people's eyes to being like, hey, maybe I should save more money. Maybe I should work on that because this situation happened and I wasn't prepared. So, I mean, maybe that's a positive aspect that we can look at from this and be like, look, an emergency fund would be a great thing to have because this happened and I wasn't ready. You know, I spent all this money on things I didn't need that didn't do me any good in a crisis. So, I mean, that's something that we could look at from this. Also, cooking from home. Right now, personally, like, it's like I like to go out and I like just to have that moment with my friends and go out and stuff. But now that it's like everything's closed down, I'm thinking, okay, well, it's like not fun anymore to go out because it's only takeout and you just have to go shuffle back home by yourself and eat it. So it's not as exciting anymore. And the other thing too is like, maybe it'll force people to learn how to cook and they'll cook on their own. And like for me, my goal this year was to cook more meals at home. Here I am, forced into doing that. I mean, I still have the option to go out and get takeout, but then that's also kind of a little scary. I don't feel like I have to go out, which I feel like that's really not part of the stay at home. I mean, even though you're allowed to go out and get food, I feel like it's kind of weird when you have food at home you could cook it yourself. Like, and then why even take the risk of going out and possibly getting sick or getting someone else sick? I feel like it's not worth it. So, I mean, that's a whole nother thing that maybe can be gained from this. Other than that, maybe if you're in quarantine and you've been like, oh my god, I'd love to learn this hobby or whatever, or I never have time for my hobbies like reading or whatever, you can be like, I'm home. I'm home full time. When else am I going to work on this? So I mean, I think that's a really positive thing in this aspect. You've got time to do that now. So that's that. Otherwise, appreciating small things more. I feel like maybe that will be a positive from this too. Like, for example, just going out and not paying any money or anything, but just like going for a walk or just getting out of the house in general will seem more exciting because we've been cooped up for too long. But it's like the little things that we didn't take advantage of. I don't want to say it that way, but like things that like we underappreciated. For example, going to a store and be able to just go get what you need. Like the fact that now you're like, well, I don't know if they have it. Let's try to see if we can get it. And then we might have to go to multiple stores to get this one thing. I still haven't gotten toilet paper, you guys. I mean, luckily I have some. But at the same time, I was going to have like a little bit of backup just in case. Nowhere to be found. I've tried for 3 weeks to get toilet paper. TMI, just as what it is. So at this point, I'm like, that'll be nice when things are just normal again. You can just go buy something because you need it and it's not a big issue, or you don't have to go online and try to hunt something down, something simple, you know? So here we are. Other things too, maybe appreciating other people more or having more empathy for their situation. And I know, again, I feel like I'm making things political. I'm really trying not to, but it's like things that come to mind and I'm like, oh my god, that's a really good point in my mind. As far as other people's situations, you're just thinking like, I've always been employed, I'm working hard, I'm doing all the things I've got to do, and you just never know. Like, you just never know when you're gonna be unemployed. Like, I feel like that's just hitting a lot of people right now. Like, they were in really, you know, I'm in this important job, I worked really hard, I'm not going to be in that situation, and now you are. So maybe, you know, understanding like not everyone on food stamps or not everyone on unemployment is just some bum sitting there. Like, they actually had a hardship, you know? So maybe that's a positive that can be gained from this, because now a lot of people are in that situation and it's not great, but maybe there's something that can be learned from it. Like, you can be a little more humble about it. And I mean, like, for example, when I think about people that are on unemployment or food stamps or whatever, I'm like, I've been there. I've been that person on unemployment. I've been the person to apply for food stamps. I've been in those shoes. Like, I've been in a lot of debt. I've lived that life, and it's not great and it's not fun. And to think that people think, oh, you like just don't care that you're in that situation and you're okay with it. Like, there's a lot of people that think that. It's crazy to me that that's a thought. Like, maybe there are people out there that are like, okay, why bother anymore? You know what I mean? Or like, why try? I might as well just be a bum. But like, a lot of people aren't like that. So just something that can be gained from this experience is just more empathy for other people that are in a bad situation, not always thinking it's just some other person and it would never be you. So also the fact that like, my friend brought this up, and it's like, I was thinking about it too, because I was like, oh gosh, like, all these things keep happening because people are eating like meats. If you think about it, like, these weird meats start a chain reaction of getting sick from that animal, and it's just crazy to me that this keeps happening. And I was thinking, I was like, should I even be eating meat anymore? Like it seems dangerous to eat meat at this point. You're just like, okay, I eat this, and like, I could get sick, and then it's gonna end up being a thing. So, I mean, it's really got me thinking, like, how do I cook vegetarian meals? Like, maybe I should look into that, because it's kind of scary that how these things are starting. You know, a lot of these crazy diseases, that's how they start. And then you're just like, okay, well, now I've got to live with it. So there's that. Also, I've noticed a lot of people are like helping their neighbors more. Personally, I haven't been home, I mean, because I've been at work, but you know, things that I've been seeing, like as far as on the news, or like just on local places, or just seeing people help each other, that's amazing. I feel like, if nothing else, maybe like we're building our community without really, like, you're not seeing anyone, but you're helping other people out. I think that aspects of it's amazing. So these are all positive things, as I said, things that are like coming to mind that I'm like, wow, maybe we can learn from this experience and not only be prepared more in the future, but like gain something from it long term. Also, I was thinking too of just, this kind of goes back to the first point about being okay to be just relax. It's okay to like go take a nap. It's okay to just read a book. It's okay to not have 500 things that need to get done. I mean, it's great to be productive, but at the same time, like, maybe we can gain that, oh, I needed a mental health break. I needed that period of time to just have self-care. So maybe that's something else that can be learned from this. Another thing too is like how there's been, I'm trying to word this correctly, but like, I mean, there's been history of strikes and all these things with, as far as the teachers go. And then a lot of times, this is crazy to me, but there's a lot of people that are like, oh, they don't deserve more money. Like, it's not that hard of a job and all this stuff. I've heard this. This is crazy town to me. I'm like, they have to deal with all of these little kids. Like, lots of kids, not just a little bit of kids. It's not like I've got 2 kids to babysit. Kind of like 20 something kids, to not only make sure they don't kill themselves, but also make sure they learn something and are productive citizens, and it can take tests and pass them. There's all these requirements that teachers have, and they're not paid well at all. Like, majority of teachers are not paid well. The fact that a lot of teachers are on food stamps is insane to me. And the fact they have to provide their own supplies is insane to me. So just another thing that's mind-boggling. And I feel like maybe right now, because a lot of kids are going to have to either be homeschooled or they're just going to be home in general. I mean, maybe this is like a wake-up call to people who are like, oh, that job's not that hard. And then you're just seeing your kid 24/7 and they're acting up and stuff. And you're like, oh my God, I can't just send them off to school and let them deal with them. They're just home with me all day. And I have to teach them stuff, you know? So like, maybe the appreciation level will be there for the teachers. Maybe that's a positive that can be gained again from this experience. And I think I got everything except one thing that I wanted to cover. I feel like, in summary, this whole thing, like everybody banding together to stay home, which is kind of crazy, but like cool in a way. It's like an introvert's dream. Like, everyone just stay home, chill, don't freak out, parties are not allowed, you know? It's like I've been preparing for it my whole life, okay? Not to brag, but like literally an introvert's dream. I feel like it's also like, we're all in this together should be the moral of the story of this whole thing. And I feel like every time I watch the news, even though it's scary to hear about the stats of it and the lack of PPE and all that stuff's scary to me. It's like upsetting, but I try to keep myself in check and I say, you know what? We're doing the best that we can do, and everyone is really working hard to pull this thing together, and everyone is really trying to do their own part. So that's the big moral to the story, is that we really are all in this together, and we all have to just do our part and stay home and just stay out of things and just make sure that we're not making other people sick or making ourselves sick, and just taking universal precautions. So that's the moral to the story here. And again, I just want to stress that these are just my thoughts, just my opinions, just things that I've thought. Maybe this situation can, you know, make us all better. You know, makes us depressed a little bit and then back up, you know, make us learn something from the situation. And then also, I wanted to stress again that I'm trying to put a positive spin on this because it's hard. It's really crappy situation. And I don't, in my shoes, like, I don't know what else to do, to be honest. I don't know what else I can do other than just stay home, wash my hands, bring hand sanitizer everywhere, and just not try to harm anyone, and not over hoard things either. Like, just buy what you need. So I feel like that's been the things that we can do. But at the same time, again, I don't want to stress, I want to stress that I'm not minimizing anything anyone's going through, because I've seen so many of my coworkers get laid off, and so many people I love at my job go, and I'm just there holding down the fort for everybody. And it's not, you know, this whole situation's not great, and seeing so many people die, it's awful. So I don't want to at all minimize that, and I don't want that to come from this video. It's more just, if there's any positive to be gained from this, maybe there's something we can learn from this experience, and we can just move on as better people. So I hope that's the lesson that you're getting from this, and the message that you're getting. Not that I just don't care and things are great. Like, that's not it. That's not it, sis. Okay? So I just want to stress that again, because I don't want this to come out as like, oh my God, things are so great and I'm so happy we have coronavirus, because that's definitely not it. Shit's getting too real, to be honest with you. Like, it's just crazy right now. So anyway, I'm going to end on that note. So again, thanks for watching. Hopefully this gives somebody some kind of positive. You know, I'm trying to keep myself uplifted so it doesn't depress me to death. So I hope that's what we're gaining from this video. And again, I will be back next week with another video, and I hope you guys are staying safe and staying home. Most importantly, washing your hands, staying home, and I'll see you again next week. Bye, you guys.